week will be completing this chapter. That means revision also. By the end of this week, we will be completing this chapter. Already once this chapter is completed in the month of May, and again revising, so it will be finished. The revision will be finished by this weekend, and then in the coming week, freshly we will start biotechnology, and that chapter also I will send. Both NCERT as well as the state textbook chapters, soft copy I sent yesterday, and likewise the coming chapters also I will send. So the development of male gametophyte. The development of male gametophyte. Already we discussed about 1.1. The first cell of the male gametophyte is pollen grain. Pollen grain is the first cell of male gametophyte. Pollen grain. So this is pollen grain. First cell of male gametophyte, where the nucleus of the pollen grain undergoes a division. The nucleus of the pollen grain or microspore undergoes a mitotic division. Here, I already told you by taking the mobile networks as an example, to easily we can remember 2G and 2D. 2G balance for 2 days validity. 2G, 2D. So what is that? We'll see. So the nucleus undergoes one mitotic division for the first time. See, one small nucleus, one larger nucleus. One is larger and irregular shaped nucleus. So the nucleus of the pollen grain undergoes a division, that is unequal division, mitotic division. Undergoes an unequal mitotic division, which results in two different sized nuclei. One is smaller and the other one is larger, irregular shaped nucleus. And now everybody see here, the smaller nucleus is surrounded by cell wall. That means cell wall formation takes place. Cell wall formation takes place on the around the smaller nucleus. So which shows that two cells are formed. So pollen grain undergoes a division and produces the two cells. So they are, one is larger cell, other one is smaller cell. The larger cell is called as vegetative cell or somatic cell. The larger cell is called as vegetative cell, and the smaller cell is called as generative cell. Up to here, yesterday we discussed. The smaller cell, generative cell, is a spindle-shaped cell. This is a spindle-shaped cell, and here unequal cell division, 1 point, and one more point here. During the cell division, unequal spindle apparatus is formed. So unequal cell division. Remember, unequal cell division results in two cells: vegetative cell, generative cell. You can understand easily. Vegetative cell means which do not participate in the sexual reproduction or fertilization, whereas generative cell which generate two male gametes. Two male gametes. Now you see vegetative cell, which is larger. Vegetative cell is larger. It is larger cell. Irregular shape the nucleus. Irregular nucleus. And then dense cytoplasm. Dense cytoplasm and rich in nutrients. Rich in nutrients. So this is all about the vegetative cell. What about generative cell, which is smaller? The generative cell is smaller. It is smaller, spindle shape, and it is also having dense cytoplasm and more nucleus. Dense cytoplasm and more nutrients, rich in nutrients. Rich in nutrients. So here the generative cell is floating in the vegetative cell. The generative nucleus or generative cell is floating in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. It is floating in cytoplasm of vegetative cell. Cytoplasm of vegetative cell. Objective important point. So, and here one more point, one more question. Already I told you. Here, in most of the angiosperms, that is about 60% of the angiosperms, they release their pollen grains in the two-celled stage. So, it is the first stage, first cell of male gametophyte. You please see. First cell of male gametophyte, and this is partially developed male gametophyte. I am simply writing short forms. First cell of male gametophyte, partially developed male gametophyte, that is two-celled stage. How many cells? Two-celled stage. So now one more objective point, tell me. That is nearly 60% of angiosperms. 60% of the angiosperms, they release the pollen grains in the two-cell stage. Release pollen grains in two-cell stage. So what are the two cells here? Generative cell, vegetative cell. Okay, two-cell stage. It is over. Next one, pollination takes place. Further development takes place after pollination. Now, this is the only step occur before pollination. Next one, the changes, all the steps, all the divisions occur after fertilization. Fertilization ku munnadi, fertilization ku pinnadi. Fertilization ku munnadi ஒரே ஒரு reaction தான், ஒரே ஒரு step, ஒரே ஒரு division. Pollen grain la nucleus divide ஆகும். அப்புறமா two nuclei will be formed. Okay. Vegetative, larger, irregular shaped nucleus, and smaller, generative, spindle shaped cell. Okay, and then now can you please tell me what is this line? Fertilization munnadi, fertilization pinnadi. So now you see here, after pollination. Pollination munnadi, pollination pinnadi. So simply to understand, Thambi enadaru sigma. Yes or no? This is sigma. Now you have to say what is this? Pollen grain. That means pollination is over. So after pollination, what really happens? So after pollination, two cell stage. The generative cell once again divides by mitosis. So generative cell exhibit a mitotic division. Generative cell exhibit a mitotic division. As a result, generative cell divides by mitosis. So now vegetative nucleus, you can see here vegetative cell or tube cell. This is called as vegetative cell. This vegetative cell, a new term is I am giving, that is tube cell. It can also be called as tube cell. This vegetative cell forms pollen tube. What is this now? Pollen tube. It forms pollen tube. Vegetative cell forms pollen tube. And in the beginning, vegetative nucleus enter into the pollen tube. Vegetative nucleus or tube nucleus. Later, this vegetative nucleus will degenerate. Vegetative nucleus will degenerate. And then the generative cell. This generative cell is there now. This generative cell undergoes a mitotic division. Undergoes a mitotic division. This, because of this mitotic division, two male nuclei, two male gametes, two male gametes, two male nuclei, two male nuclei are formed. Now this is three-cell stage. Three-cell stage. Completely developed male gametophyte. Completely developed male gametophyte. So here, in your state textbook, they gave that during the development, you will see here, the tip is there, no? The tip semi-spherical, hemispherical. The tip of the pollen tube is somewhat swollen, semi-spherical structure. That is called as cap, tube cap or bottle cap. So generally, tip. The tip is semi-spherical and large amount of cytoplasm will come and accumulate at the tip. So, and the growth of the pollen tube, chemotrophic. The growth of the pollen tube is chemotrophic. Objective point mark. The growth of the pollen tube is chemotrophic. So, regarding the growth and all, we discuss later during the fertilization. So, what is this finally? This is a fully developed or mature male gametophyte. I can write this is mature male gametophyte. So, what is this now? Partially developed male gametophyte, and this is a mature male gametophyte. Mature male gametophyte. So, first cell of male gametophyte, partially developed male gametophyte, and mature male gametophyte, fully developed male gametophyte. First cell, only one nucleus, partially developed, two nuclei, and mature male gametophyte is having 3 nuclei, 2 male gametes and 1 vegetative nucleus. One vegetative nucleus. So I told you this development of this male gametophyte is 2G, 2D. So the recharge of 2G balance only for 2 days validity. So here what is that now? 2G, 2 generations. This is first generation, this is second generation. First generation, second generation. 2 generations and 2D, 2 divisions. Nucleus one time divided and generative nucleus divided one more time. That's why 2 generations and 2 divisions. 2 generations and 2 divisions. With this, the development of male gametophyte is over, and immediately we have to start the female gametophyte structure. Female reproductive part. Please take a screenshot. Everybody, please take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3, done. So, next one, let us see the female gametophyte. Sorry, female reproductive structure. Fourth one, female reproductive structure. The female reproductive structure, that is gynoecium. Gynoecium. This gynoecium is also called as pistil. Gynoecium is also called as pistil. Let us discuss about the female reproductive structure. So here the gynoecium or pistil. Gynoecium or pistil can be called as, stamen is called as microsporophyll, and gynoecium is called as, or pistil is called as megasporophyll. It is called as megasporophyll. So this is what in the examination giving one, but exactly to say megasporophyll, instead of gynoecium, we can go for carpel. So now important point is androecium consists of stamens, then gynoecium consists of carpels. Androecium consists of stamens, gynoecium consists of carpels. So gynoecium is composed of carpels. Gynoecium is composed of carpels. Now, based on this carpels, let us see the gynoecium. In the gynoecium, the carpels may be fused. Or free. If the carpels are fused, that is syncarpus. If the carpels are free, apocarpus. Syncarpus, apocarpus. Here, carpels are fused. hibiscus, sembarati, citrus, hibiscus, citrus. So likewise papaya, guava, all examples we can see, most of the examples. And apocarpus from the short form alarm. Alarm, Tambi, A-L-R-M, not exactly correct spelling, but pronunciation alarm. Anona, L, lotus, rose, mycalia. Anona, lotus, rose, mycalia. And here, according to NCERT 12th textbook, one more example, that is papaver. Papaver. That is papaver. So based on the carpels, syncarpus, apocarpus, over. And now, number of carpels. So generally, number of carpels also varies. Number of carpels. So the number of carpels also may vary. Now you please see monocarpellary. Monocarpellary, bicarpellary, tricarpellary, tetracarpellary, pentacarpellary, multicarpellary. So you can understand easily. So monocarpellary, only one carpel is there. Only one carpel. Example, here examples P, bean. Okay, P, bean, groundnut. So all the pulses. Okay, only one chamber, one carpel. Bicarpellary, maybe two carpels here. Maybe example we can say datura. Datura, even brassica, mustard, all. Tricarpellary, three carpels are there. Three carpels. So example, cucurbita. Liliaceae members can be all the Liliaceae members. You studied in the first year. All the Liliaceae members. Tetracarpellary. Four carpels. Ipomia. Ipomia. Once again, I see some other examples. I had some other doubt also. So Ipomia. And the pentacarpellary. Five carpels are there. And the examples, hibiscus, hibiscus. The last and final multicarpellary. Many carpels are there. And examples, citrus, abutilon, citrus and abutilon. Many carpels are there. So based on the carpels. And here, number of locules also there, not given in the NCERT as well as our state textbook. It is also not given much. So based on the number of carpels, the gynoecium is said to be monocarpellary gynoecium. Monocarpellary gynoecium. Bicarpellary syncarpus. Likewise. So tricarpellary syncarpus, tetracarpellary syncarpus, or multicarpellary apocarpus. Okay, multicarpellary syncarpus, multicarpellary apocarpus. So likewise, based on the number of carpels we have seen, and then let us see the structure of a gynoecium. When we see the structure of a gynoecium, So this is the structure of gynoecium. So when we see the structure of the gynoecium, which possess three regions, they are sigma, style, and the ventral region. The basal swollen region is called as ovary. The basal swollen region is called as ovary. In the ovary, you can see here in the central region, mostly in the central region, there is a soft cushion-like tissue. That soft cushion-like tissue is called as placenta. What is that now? That is placenta. Placenta is a central soft parenchymatous cushion-like tissue upon which many ovules attached. Many ovules are attached upon this. Like this. So ovules are attached on placenta. Ovules are attached on placenta. Okay. Now let us see the structure of a ovule. The structure of an ovule. Before going to that structure, let us see the number of ovules. Number of ovules. The ovule number may be single. So an ovary may possess only a single ovule or many ovules. So the number may be only one or many ovules. Only one ovule. It is present in rice, wheat, mango, coconut, date palm, cashew nut. Likewise, only one ovule is present inside the ovary. Whereas here, many ovules are present. So when we see the examples here, orchids, Goa, and then watermelon, So many ovules are present. Many ovules. So the number of ovules may vary. The number of ovules may vary from species to species. They may vary from single ovule to many ovules. So example, single ovule in case of rice, wheat, mango, coconut. Okay. Many ovules, orchids, Goa, watermelon. Many ovules are there. And now let us see the structure of ovule. So Thambi, please take a screenshot. Please take a screenshot. Let me draw a little bigger. So Now we are seeing this ovule or anatropous ovule. What is this now? This is anatropous ovule. What is the meaning of anatropous? The ovule body is bent. The ovule body is bent. So let us see anatropous ovule. So all the ovules they attach to placenta with the help of a stalk. The stalk of the ovule is called as funicle or funiculus. So this is placenta. Now you see what is this mark? This is funicle or funiculus. Funicle or funiculus. The stalk of the ovule is called as funiculus. So funicle is the stalk of the ovule by which all the ovules attach to placenta. Then tell me what is this? This is placenta. That is placenta. So funicle. So now here some specialized finger-like projections you can see. Some finger-like projections are there. Generally, these finger-like projections are present mostly at the funiculus region. So, these finger-like projections are called as obturator. Obturator. What is the use of obturator? Obturator is a finger-like projection which guides the pollen tube into the ovule through micropyle. Through micropyle. Obturator guides the pollen tube and help the pollen tube to enter the ovule. Help the pollen tube to enter the ovule. Okay, obturator. And then, so here we can say two regions are there. Two structures are there. 1 and 2. The ovule consists of only two regions. They are body of the ovule and stalk of the ovule. The stalk of the ovule is called as funiculus and it is body. Ovule body. The ovule body is having two structures. Two structures. And this is called as chalaza. This is called as chalaza. Chalaza. And this opening is there now. This opening is called as. This opening is called as. This opening is called as micropyle. What is this mark? Micropyle. So the opening of the ovule. So the tip of the ovule is having a small fine opening or pore which is called as micropyle. What is that? That is called as micropyle. So entire ovule body is covered by two coverings, two integuments, two coverings, integuments. Outer covering, inner covering. This is outer, this is inner. Okay. Outer covering, inner covering. Outer integument, inner integument. Outer integument, inner integument. So that means the entire ovule body covering is covered by two coverings. These two coverings are called as integuments. Outer integument and as well as inner integument. Outer, inner. So these integuments completely close the entire ovule, but leaving a small gap at the tip. That gap is called as micropyle. How the micropyle is formed? Micropyle is formed by a left out gap. Who left the gap? So the entire ovule body is covered by coverings. Outer covering, inner covering. Outer integument, inner integument. Leaving a small gap which develops into an opening called micropyle. Okay. Okay. And then in the micropyle, you please see this gap to be so the space between the outer integuments is called as exostome. It is called as exostome. And the space between the inner integuments is called as endostome. Exostome, endostome. What is exostome? So, Tambi, this is the opening gap is there. Okay. In the gap, outer integument nadula gap is there. Inner integument nadula gap is there. Outer integument nadula, the gap, the space in between the outer integuments is called as exostome, and the space in between the inner integuments is called as endostome. You can see here. Idu outer integument leaving a small gap, exostome. Idu inner integument leaving a small gap, endostome. Okay. And then so based on this, I can say the ovule as integumented megasporangium. Ovule can be called as integumented megasporangium. Integumented megasporangium. That means Tambi, idu megasporangium irko. Megasporangium is surrounded by integuments. Then now you should get a doubt. When ovule is called as integumented megasporangium, then what is megasporangium? Exactly. So inside the ovule, there is a diploid tissue. That diploid tissue is called as nucellus. What is that, ma'am? That is nucellus. That nucellus is called as megasporangium. But in your textbook as well as in the examinations, they are asking simply ovule megasporangium. Ovule is megasporangium. If at all they give clearly which of the following below are similar to ovule. So they give integumented megasporangium or megasporangium and some other things. So first priority megasporangium, okay, or sorry, integumented megasporangium, and then immediately you should go for the next one. Next question. Megasporangium is related to, and they'll give four options. One is nucellus, ovule, and etc. etc. So, according to your textbook or general condition, we consider ovule. No, here nucellus is megasporangium. Then ovule is integumented megasporangium. Ovule is integumented megasporangium. So, everybody see here carefully. This tissue is nucellus. What is this, Nana? Nucellus. Nucellus. What is the quality of the nucellus? Diploid. Sir, dear students, you should get it out. Sir, you are specifying only this one. Then what about other structures? All the other structures are also diploid. All the other structures are also diploid. But in the examination, they are asking this one. That's why I specified nucellus is a diploid tissue, parent sporophytic tissue. Tambi, still we did not go to gametophyte. Still we are in the sporophytic tissues only. Nucellus. What is nucellus? Nucellus is just a megasporangium. Nucellus is megasporangium. Megasporangium. Nucellus is megasporangium. And then, in case of mature ovule, you can see the presence of female gametophyte. This is the female gametophyte. This is the female gametophyte. The female gametophyte is called as embryo sac. The female gametophyte is called as embryo sac. So, embryo sac is present in a mature ovule. A mature ovule possesses a ripened mature ovule possesses female gametophyte, embryo sac. And now, around the embryo sac, you can see the presence of a nutritive tissue. Presence of a nutritive tissue, which is called as endothelium. What is that now? Endothelium. A nutritive tissue is that which is called as endothelium. Endothelium is a nutritive tissue present around the embryo sac. Around the embryo sac or surrounding the female gametophyte, there is a parenchymatous tissue which is called as endothelium. Okay. And then coming further, the cholenchymatous tissue or a parenchymatous tissue, mostly cholenchymatous tissue. At the base, lignified cholenchymatous tissue. Okay. A living mechanical tissue to provide mechanical support below the embryo sac and above the embryo sac. Lignified cholenchymatous tissue is that which is called as below the embryo sac hypostasis. Below the embryo sac hypostasis. Hypostasis and above the embryo sac epistasis. Epistasis. Okay, ma? And now Tambi, this is the upper region na, but why I gave hypostasis? Why? Because hypo, that is true. This is actually ovule, Tambi. This is actually ovule, but here this is ovule body. Tambi paranga, this is ovule body. The ovule body is bent nearly about 180 degrees angle. Nearly about 180 degrees angle. The ovule body is bent. Okay, ipo paranga, idu tip. Okay va, epistasis. Tambi idu epistasis da ennache? Ovule body bent, epistasis kile varudu, hypostasis mele varudu. Okay va? Yes. So as this is anatropous ovule, inverted ovule. What is this ma? Inverted ovule. So epistasis, hypostasis. Here still two more points are there, but entire diagram is becoming somewhat clumsy. What to do? Main structures. What are the three main structures of the ovule? Two main structures. Two main structures are there. One is funicle, other one is body. Funicle and body, these are the two major structures. And the other one, three main regions. They are micropyle, chalaza, funicle. Micropyle, tip kita micropyle, chalaza, funicle. These three more important structures. Okay, in the beginning, body and funicle. Now, other than these three major points, three major structures. So, tip, micropyle, chalaza, funicle. What is chalaza? Chalaza is the point from where integuments arise. It is the point from where integuments arise. Or otherwise we can say, it is the point where nucellus and integuments they fuse. Nucellus, integuments they come in contact. So integuments arise from a point called chalaza. Okay. Still two more points are there, Tambi. I'm using this blue colored one. This is called as hilum. Hilum. What is it, hilum? Hilum. Hilum is a point of attachment of. It is a point of attachment of body of the ovule to funiculus. The body of the ovule and funiculus, they join at a particular region. The point of attachment, they attach at a particular point. Such point is called as hilum. Hilum is the point of attachment. Hilum is the point of attachment of the ovule. Point of attachment of the ovule to funiculus. Hilum. And then here, careful about this region. Right? Up this one up to here only. But here you can see inner, outer. Funicle. The funicle is extended. The funicle is extended. Tambi, this is hilum. Okay, va? Why? Because this is straight. It is a straight ovule. This is inverted ovule. That is inverted ovule. For the inverted ovule, there is one more name. I'll find it and I'll tell you. Recently, somewhere I have studied. But you level not needed. Yes, I'll give you that information, extra information. So this is straight ovule, this is inverted ovule. In the inverted ovule, it is the point of attachment of the ovule body and funicle. Body, funicle, rendume inge connect agum. Okay, it is the point of attachment. This is called as hilum. Now, this funicle is extended. The funicle is extended. The extended region of the funicle is called as raphe. The extended region of the funicle is called as raphe. This is called as raphe. The extended funicle is called as raphe, which forms a ridge. Small, swollen, ridge-like structure, which is called as raphe, which is found only in the inverted ovules, mostly in the inverted ovules. So with this ovule, structure of the ovule is over. Tambi, I think you have taken this photograph, right? If at all you have taken this photograph, okay, screenshot. Otherwise, take a screenshot now. Better you take a screenshot, no problem. Take a screenshot. And then let us see the types of ovules. Let us see the types of ovules. So again, various types of ovules are there based on the origin, based on the arrangement, based on the amount of nuisance. First of all, let us see the types of ovules based on the number of integuments. Types of ovules. The first category based on number of integuments. Based on number of integuments. Three types of ovules. There are three types of ovules. They are, you please see here, ategmic, unitegmic, bitegmic. So three types of ovules. Ategmic. That means no integument. Ategmic means no integument. Integuments are absent. Here only one integument, here two integuments. Let us see some examples. Ategmic, there are no integuments at all. Examples: Loranthus, Belanophora, unitegmic, all gamopetalae members. All gamopetalae members. Bitegmic, polypetalae members. are free and monocots. Monocots. Okay then. So ategmic, unitegmic, bitegmic. Three types. Let us see second category based on the amount of new cellers. Based on amount of new cellers. Based on the amount of new cellers. These are again two types. Tenio new cell late, Crasy new cell late. Two types. Tenio new cell late, Crasy new cell late. Two types are there. Tenio new cell late, Crasy new cell late. So, what is this tenio new cell late? Here, very less amount of new cellers. These ovules, they possess less amount of new cellers. Here, these ovules, they possess more amount of new cellers. More amount of new cells. Here, let us see some examples. Unitegmic ovules. All the plants with unitegmic ovules, such as gamopetalae members. Gamopetalae members. Whereas here, bitegmic ovules only. Polypetalae members and monocots. Polypetalae members and monocots. So here, based on the origin, only 1 minute, based on the origin, subhypodermal, hypodermal and subhypodermal. Only 1 second. Subhypodermal, hypodermal, subhypodermal. Both are similar actually. Let's see. So, according to your textbook, tenio new cell late origin the hypodermal origin. It is hypodermal origin. It is subhypodermal origin. So more or less somewhat similar. It is immediate to the epidermis. It is little beyond the epidermis, little away from the epidermis. Okay, so various types of ovules based on the number of integuments. Number of integuments based on the amount of new cellers. Tenio new cellate, little amount of new cellers, gamopetalae members. Crasy new cellate, more amount of new cellers, polypetalae and monocots. Origin hypodermal, subhypodermal. Okay, ma? Please take a screenshot. We'll go to other types of ovules based on the arrangement. Take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Done. Okay then. Okay, Thambi. 11:30. So, homework, sir. structure of OU. Your homework is structure of OU and the development of real gametophyte. This one, number 2, based on the amount of new cellars. This is a 2 marks question for you. A board exam, 2 marks question. Objective, very important. And these 2 for objective. Structure for board as well as objective. And this is objective point ovule, integumented megasporangium. And what is megasporangium? That is new cellars. So today we have completed about development of male gametophyte, female reproductive structure, number of carpels, apocarpus, syncarpus, and then structure of ovule, and then types of ovules. Actually, I thought to complete other types of ovules. 6 different types of ovules are there based on the arrangement. I thought to complete, but I couldn't. So tomorrow we'll complete that, and then we'll go to megasporogenesis, structure of embryo sac. So tomorrow megasporogenesis, structure of embryo sac, types of ovules, and day after tomorrow pollination. So pollination, pollinating agents. Thursday contrivances, and Friday fertilization, and Saturday or Monday we'll wind up this chapter and we'll go to the new chapter. So I just sincerely request all of you, please attend the classes. Don't take it, don't neglect these classes. Okay, ma'am. Sandeep sir, okay sir?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and the students, okay, sir, you can listen. So students, and I am forward.
Wait. Let me take photograph. Let me take attendance mark.
Okay. Okay, sir. You take it.
Sorry. Please let me take attendance.
Okay. And students, I have forwarded you a physics assignment on moving charges. So start solving that one exercise. First, go through the class notes. Once you are done with that one, start solving the assignment problems. I have already forwarded them to your group. Okay.
Okay, ma. You can take a break now. Thank you very much.